And you need to run if I go a little over. You know, do what you need to do. So, shall we? Shall we? So this week I've been talking about the concept of thinking, which that's where the playlist is Don't Think Twice. And, you know, it's really interesting, excuse me, how, you know, things, of course, morph and change as we go on and different things happen. And I started off with the whole, like, don't think twice. And, you know, we come from within and we follow our instinct to overthinking. And now it's like for not thinking at all. And there were two teachers on, I don't know if they're on today, they were on yesterday, and we got into a conversation about how some students they have not heard from at all. The parents, kids, as from the beginning of the quarantine, they're just not participating in their schoolwork. And, you know, that made me think a little bit. And then, of course, what happened in Georgia, how, you know, that was back in February, and we're just hearing about this now. You know, we have to think things through for the big picture. And it's not necessarily from day to day with each experience, like, oh, yeah. You know, these kids that aren't showing up for school, that aren't participating, what is going to happen when all of this is over? You know, we have this time right now to do whatever we want to do with it, whether we're being productive, and, you know, some people are learning new languages, whether we're just trying to get by, some people who've been ill. You know, we have to think of the big picture of when this is all said and done. And yet there are some people that are in the moment now that they think, okay, enough is enough. We've quarantined enough. We're good to go. Let's open everything. We want to go to the beach. We want this. We want. But again, in the big picture, this crap is coming back. So it's coming back for a second round. So it's just kind of ironic how, you know, we're not thinking at all, which is pretty frightening. So I pulled out Hafiz, and this is like a diary. So he dated different entries here. So this is actually May 9th, which coincides with today, which I love when things kind of work out with what we're talking about for the week. And it's called That Cute Hebrew. Why complain about life if you're looking for good fish and have followed some idiot into the middle of the copper market, and then he left you there, stunned and confused? The above says a lot. It implies at some point you might actually have to start thinking. Uh-oh. Yes, uh-oh. And you better get ready for evolution at some point will demand it. That your brain utilizes more of its talents and operates on more of its cylinders the way Albert's did. Einstein, I'm talking about. Remember him? That cute Hebrew with wild hair. Let's just close the eyes. Nice big breath in. Open your mouth, let it all go. And just come to your thoughts. See where they've taken you recently. See if you've shut them down. They've increased. And I'm not talking about worries or concerns, just how we're using our brain. And then we find that balance among thinking, overthinking, not thinking at all. To get us through this time, to get us through our practice, to get us through our days. And bring your hands together in a prayer at your heart. You start to soften. Notice your breath. Feel the connection that your hands make to the sternum. Press your thumbs in, sit up tall. Take a cleansing breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. And then let's breathe in for one. Open your eyes. Namaste. And let's boogie. So we'll start in child's pose. And if you're using the playlist, first song is Wonderwall. You can hit that now. And I'll just play mine low. You can play yours as loud as you like. Really extend the fingertips towards the front edge of your mat and sink the hips back to the heels. Let your head be heavy. Just breathe here for a moment. Let that be your focus. There's no other distraction. The eyes are closed. Breathe in, let the back expand and fill. And on the breath out, let's push it up to a cat back, navel to spine. Press your palms down into the floor. And now press back up onto your fingertips, find a little extra space here. Make a little sway of the head. And drop your palms, come to your calf, let the chest come forward through the arms, and then shift forward a little bit more until you feel the wrists and the forearms. On the exhale, let's come back to that cat back. Push up onto your fingertips. And then walk your hands forward. We're taking it back to a child's pose. Slide your fingertips back towards your knees and then push with the hands. Bring your chin to your chest so you roll it up so you're sitting on your heels. Then walk your fingertips towards the back edge of your mat. Turn them away from you. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Drop your head. You'll start to float your hips up off your heels. Let the pelvis shift forward. And then walk your fingertips a little closer to your feet. Open the heart space a little bit more. Draw the shoulders back. And then as you lower yourself down, take your fists on your feet. So the knuckles will be right in the arches. So as you sit on the heels, you can give yourself a little massage. So start at the heel, and then draw those knuckles down through the arches, through the balls of the feet. Shift forward into your tabletop. Tuck your toes, take it back, downward facing dog, and find some movement here. Lift and lower the heels, roll on the ankles. And then find your dog. Let your head go in between the arms. Take a nice big breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Lift your heels high, roll out to a plank. Take your time and notice where the hands are. Allow yourself to shift forward into your fingertips. Use the balls of the feet. Drive the heels back, press into your fingertips. On the breath out, lower everything down to the floor. Hug the elbows in towards the ribs. Untuck the toes. Let's come to a cobra. So breathe in. And then lower yourself. Breathe out. Press into your knees. Take it back to a child's pose just for one breath. Slide your hands halfway back. Push up into tabletop. And step back with your right foot. Press into the ball of the foot. Find a little movement here. Drawing the heel back. Drawing the kneecap up. And then float your right leg up with the left arm at the same time. Find that balance. Stay with your breath. Reach the left hand back. Keep your right leg straight. Press into your right hand. And let's lift the gaze. Maybe you take your chin way up off of your chest. You're looking up at the ceiling. Now reach back and connect to that right foot as you curl the hamstring. Lift the chest. So now the chest lifts up just as the chin is up there. Bring your neck to neutral. Left hand will come down. Pull your right knee around towards your right shoulder to open the hip. I'm just turning so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. Then extend that right leg out. Let's inhale, lift the right arm up. Breathe in. Lay it back. Maybe find some movement through that right shoulder. And do what feels right. Maybe you come down and you tap that left arm and open it up. And bring your right hand down to your mat. On the breath in, lift the left arm and we'll take a twist here. Maybe push up onto your right fingertips, find a little bit more space, and lay it back. And then thread the left arm underneath the right. Grab hold of your right ankle. Let's lower down on the left side of the head. Left shoulder comes down to the floor. So then maybe walk the right fingertips forward or float them up. And then once you're there, if you're feeling balanced and secure, lift your left shoulder and rotate a little bit more in the twist. Lift the chin again and look up towards your right fingers. Bring your right hand down. Unravel yourself. Now, as long as this is okay for that left knee, we'll sit back in a half hero. Bring the hips down to the floor. Yeah. And then we'll fold over that right leg. Flex your foot. Point your toes. Flex your foot. Point your toes. So move that around. And tuck your chin into your chest and we'll roll this up. Bring your right leg forward. And then push on off of that left foot and come into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Yeah. Bring the leg straight first. That's it. I'm going to tuck the back toes, float the knee. Lower back down and we'll come into Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Sway the hips from side to side. And then hold it in the middle. Keep your right foot flexed. Let's walk over towards the right side and add a little bit of a twist here. So maybe you're feeling that IT band on the right side, the right obliques. Bring yourself back to center. Tuck the left toes. Step into your right foot. Let's go for a wide-legged forward fold at the top of your mat. And then lift your feet and sway from side to side, shifting your weight. Playing with the balance. And then settle on in, grab hold of your forearms or your elbows, let your head hang. If it's more comfortable for you, bend the knees. It's a lot on the hamstrings. And maybe we sway this from side to side. Release the arms, tent up onto the fingertips. Start to lower your hips down to the floor as you lengthen the spine and lift the chest. So see if you can bring the elbows right next to the knees. You're going to press back to lengthen. Crown of the head comes forward. Hips are shifting back. Then take your hands back behind you. Bring them together in an interlace. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Lift your gaze. On the exhale, chin to chest, let's take a forward fold and bring the arms overhead. And then once you're hanging upside down, see if you can tuck your chin into your chest and find the ceiling. So it's early yet. You can keep the knees soft. And then release your hands, bring them down to your mat. We'll step back, downward facing dog. Lift your heels, roll out to plank. Shift forward until you feel your fingertips. Rotate the creases of the elbows. So the eyes of the elbows are coming forward. So when you bend the arms, the elbows are coming straight back. So just add a little softness to those arms. Just a little bit. It's not full Chaturanga, just a little. And then lower the knees, the chest, and the chin. Use the balls of the feet and your fingertips, roll forward, Bhujangasana, low cobra. Breath in. Breath out, lower yourself down. Child's pose for one breath. Come up to tabletop. Step back with your left foot. And rock it. Float the leg, float the right arm. And then if you feel a sway back here in that lumbar spine, really engage through the core. This leg doesn't have to be up in the ceiling. Dial the toes down over the floor. Extend the arms forward like you want to shake someone's hand. And stay strong in the left leg, reach back with the right hand. Press out of the left, lift the chest, lift the chin, take your gaze higher. And become a little bit lighter here. Curl your hamstring, connect to your foot. And then kick your foot into your hand, lift the chest, Drop your chin a bit, bring your right hand down. Pull your left knee around towards your left shoulder. Ooh, I just popped my hip. Step your left foot down. On the breath in, lift your left arm up. Lay it back. Take some movement here through the shoulder joint if that feels good for you. Yeah. And then lower that left hand down. Breath in, lift your right arm up. Tent up onto your left fingertips. Find that space to open. And just notice what you feel. Spread your right arm underneath your left and connect to your left ankle. Allow yourself to melt down. Float the left arm up. It's either over your head or it's up towards the ceiling. So you have the added stability of that right hand holding onto your left ankle. And play with it. Float the arm up. Twist into it a little bit more. Lift your chin up. Look at your left hand. Bring your left hand back down. Unravel yourself. Take your time. You might need to swing that right foot out to the right side a little bit. So you can drop back in that half hero shape. Yeah, take the arms up overhead and let's turn and fold over that left leg. We'll flex the foot and point it if you did that on the other side. Feel the difference in the stretch. And then we roll that up. Reach over to your left, find a bit of a twist. If you were down low before, bring it down low. And then bring yourself back to center. Swing that left foot forward so you're facing the front end of your mat, and then it's a little easier to shift forward coming into Anjaneyya lunge. Maybe you tuck the right toes and shift a little farther back to release. Now tuck the toes, float the knee in a nice low lunge, but take it a little lower so you're still in that Anjaneyya shape. Release the hip. Drop your knee, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. And then walk your fingertips over towards the left, coming back into that twist. Walk your hands forward. Step into your left foot. Right foot comes to the outside of that right hand. So the feet are wide again. Press up onto your fingertips. Bring them right in front of the toes. Lengthen the spine. Ardha Uttanasana with wide legs. Shift forward into the balls of the feet. You're staying grounded through the heels. Allow your hips to tip up a little higher towards the ceiling. And then from here, let's take a fold. Chest is coming down. The ribs are coming down towards the thighs. Begin to walk the hands forward as if you're in a downward facing dog. Press up onto your fingertips. And then take your chin way into your chest. Get the head a little movement here if that feels good on the shoulders, the upper back. Then turn your toes out. Melt the hips down and come into Malasana, yogi squat. So we'll move this one. This is the first one. So lift and lower the heels and the toes. Then allow the hips to sink, bring the forearms down to the floor. So now if the forearms are coming down and the hips are going up, so you can keep dropping the hips. So make it more about the hips sinking than the forearms. Drop your head. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Stay low in that fold. Start to straighten the legs. Turn your toes in to face your wrists. Lift your heels high. Shift the weight into your hands. Hips are going up towards the ceiling. Draw the belly button in and up. Step or float your feet together. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Take your hands back behind you and interlace them. Draw the knuckles down towards the floor as you find space between the ears and the shoulders. Keep reaching down with the knuckles and then straighten the legs. Lift the chest up towards the ceiling. We'll just tip it back for a little bit of a back bend. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Draw the kneecaps up. And come back through center. Urdhva Hastasana, high prayer. Exhale, bend the knees, melt on down, Uttanasana, forward fold. Breathe in as you lengthen. Breath out, step back, downward facing dog. Plank pose on the breath in. Shift a little farther forward than you think you should. Chaturanga Dandasana, or knees, chest, chin. So you're taking your vinyasa the way you like it. I'm going to meet up in a downward facing dog when you're ready. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth, let it all go. Lift your heels high and then press up onto your fingertips. Drop your chest back towards your thighs. Then start to walk your feet forward. So with every step you take, the hips are going a little higher. You're staying deep in your fold, keeping your head down. Trust yourself. Eventually the feet will meet the hands. Keep pressing into the balls of the feet. And then float your hands up to prayer at your heart, and we'll play with the balance here. And bring your fingertips down. We'll take a toe bounce. The heels are staying high, you're still on the balls of the feet. Connect the balls and the heels, take the knees wide. So you're making a little circle with the arches of your feet. And then lower down as much as feels comfortable for you, for your knees. Yeah, take those knees nice and wide. Beautiful. And let's float a prayer at the heart. Yes, gorgeous. Nice. Bring your hands back down. Drop the heels. Let's come to chair pose, Utkatasana. Breath in, rise all the way up. Lay it back, find that back bend. Let's wing the arms back. Next breath in, high prayer, Urdhva. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Lengthen on the breath in. On the breath out, step back or float back, your vinyasa. Lift your right leg. Bend your knee, open your hip. Shift the chest forward towards the right arm and take your gaze over your right shoulder. So there's a little bit of a twist here. Now from here, straighten that right leg. So it's going to go a little higher because that hip is wide open. Now come back through center, close the hip off. You're in the down dog split. Pull your right thigh into your chest and then step forward in between your hands. Spin the back heel, warrior one. Nice. Adjust the feet. We're feeling a little wobbly. Heel toe that right foot out to the right side. Allow the left hip point to shift forward. Draw the hands back behind you in a cactus first so you feel the shoulder blades drawing towards each other. Spread the fingers wide. And then wing the arms back. Lay this back. Keep your right knee bent so the arms will be open. Shift it forward for devotional warrior. Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling and let the arms shift overhead. We're not binding. Lift halfway up and frame your right foot. Float the left heel. You'll be in lunge for a hot second. And take it to your half split Ardha Hanumanasana. Press up onto your fingertips, lift the chest. And see if you can pull that right hip back a little bit more. Yeah, you'll feel that hamstring. You'll feel the left quad. From here, pivot towards your left. We'll come to Prasarita with a twist. Take your right fingertips in front of your left toes. Lift the left arm up as you breathe in. And then wrap that left arm around your back. You can adjust yourself here if you're dropping in the right hip. You can feel so that it's even with the left. And then maybe you float that right hand to your shin, lengthen the spine, lay back a little bit more. Drop the chest, release the arms. And we'll take it to the other side, left fingertips in front of your right toes, lift your right arm. Wrap your right arm behind you. Make the adjustment if you need to. You can even see with your eyes as you're twisting. That right hip is higher than the left. Take your left hand to your shin, lengthen the spine, lay back. So the more length you give the spine, the more room you have to twist. And it's not forced. Still breathe and be comfortable. Lower the chest. Release the arms. Bring your hands down, turn your heels in and your toes out, and we'll goddess the legs. But keep your hands down. Drop your forearms down. So we're a little bit wider in our stance than we were before in that lunge, in that squat. Then shift your hips from side to side. Here you're lifting and lowering the toes and the heels. Start to take your feet a little wider. Well, let's walk over towards the left side, coming to Skandasana. Right leg will stay straight. And just play with this for a second. Flex your toes. Yeah. When you're ready, stay low, drop your chest. Maybe you're on your forearms and shift it to the other side. Yeah. As low as feels comfortable for your knees, for your hips, for your groins. Nice. Shift it back through center. You have wide legs now. Turn your feet in just a bit. Let's come back to that goddess, and we'll float it all the way up to goddess pose. Cactus the arms. Yeah, drop your hips. Good. Take your right elbow down to your right thigh. Take your left arm over your left ear. And you can support your head with your fingertips. Yeah, we're just hanging out here. Cool. Come back through center, cactus the arms, legs stay as they are. Bring your left elbow down to your thigh. Sweep your right arm over your right ear. You can even look underneath that right arm. Support your head with your left hand. Come back through the middle. Breath in, flying warrior. Straighten the arms and the legs. High prayer, look up. See your hands connect. So you get that extra lift. And then open it up, warrior two to the front of your mat. Peaceful warrior, breath in. Extended side angle, breath out. And then you choose if you're going to rest on that left, that right thigh with your forearm. And then if you are, use the strength of that arm to lift up. You find distance between your right ribs and your thigh to get the spiral and the twist. If you're coming down towards the floor, same thing. You're pushing out of the fingertips so you have room. You're not sinking into your thigh. Nice. Now drop your left hand down and spin to the outer edge of your left foot and come into Vashisthasana. Step your right foot on top of your left. Keep your right hand down on the floor until you're settled, and then float it on up. If you prefer to bring that knee down to the floor, come into that similar shape that we had done already in the warm-up. You can be here. Take your right arm over your head. Keep pressing out of your left arm. And then maybe you float your right foot an inch off the left. Look down at your left hand. Let's come back into plank pose, your vinyasa. Breathe. Lift your left leg. Bend the knee, open the hips. Start to turn your chest towards your left arm. So notice what's happening in your right shoulder. We're not collapsing here. Stay engaged through that right arm. Take your chin above your left shoulder. Straighten your left leg. You're on the side. You're in a big standing straddle. Yeah. Now turn it to a down dog split and close off that hip. Pull your left thigh into your chest. Then we'll settle into warrior one. Take your time. Connect to the outer edge of that right foot. You can float the arms up. Cactus the arms and then wing them back. Puff your chest up towards the ceiling. Keep the left knee bent. We're lifting up here to lay back and open. We're not crunching through that lumbar spine. Let's come to devotion. Heart and chest lead the way. And reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling and then eventually overhead. Frame your left foot, float your right heel. Half split Ardha Manasana. Find a little bit of mobility here. Turn to your right, Prasarita with a twist, left fingertips, float in front of the right foot. Lift your right arm up on the breath in. We'll move this. Take your right hand down, we'll switch to the other side. Bring both hands down. Just going to turn. Your wide-legged forward fold, walk your fingertips through the legs. So your fingertips are away from you. Bend the elbows, bend the knees. So now we're coming down low to the floor. Trust yourself. You're not sitting on the elbows, but you might tap the backs of the arms. Bend the arms, draw the chest down, draw the crown of the head down towards the floor. Yeah, so you're sitting on your triceps. Now straighten the legs to keep the forward fold. Take the elbows a little wide until they're like right by your calves. Maybe the knees are at the shoulders or at the triceps. Tuck your chin all the way into your chest and try to see the ceiling from here. And your fingertips are on the floor, so feel confident enough to shift the weight into the balls of the feet. Hips will go a little higher. Cool. Nice. Lower those hips, turn your toes out. Goddess pose, cactus the arms. Then hang out here for a second, you're just upside down. On the breath in, flying warrior, straight arms and legs. Breath out, warrior two to the front of your mat. Peaceful. Extended side angle. And let yourself get into it. If you're feeling a little stuck, bring some movement there. Gaze down at your left foot, bring your right hand down. We'll spin to the outer edge of that right foot. It's a big movement. Float the left foot on top of the right. Plank pose, Vashisthasana. Yeah. If you're not bringing the knee down for the modification, you can bring the forearm down. It's still a side plank. Yeah. Sweep your left arm over your ear, lift the hips, lift the ribs. Float the left foot off the right, just an inch. Cool. Drop your left hand, your vinyasa. Bring your feet together, lift your heels, bend your knees, bring your hips back, take your gaze forward. Step or float your way to the top of the mat. Breath in, lengthen. Breath out, fold. Press into the feet, Urdhva Hastasana, high prayer. Bring your prayer to your heart and we'll come to chair pose. Lift your heels. Take your knees wide. So we'll come back to that balance on the toes. Just hover the hips over the heels. Bring your hands down to the floor. We're going for a really wide crow. So instead of putting your knees into your armpits, go wide this time. Yeah, just a little variation. So lean forward, touch the tips of the toes and the knees will come out wide. It might feel easier to hold. It might feel weird. Yeah, don't overthink it. It's just something different. Cool. Then we lower the crown of the head down to the floor. And then you're just sitting on your triceps. And then see if we could lift the head. Take it back up. Bring your feet down to the outer edges of the mat. You're in Malasana. Nice. Hands together in prayer, your heart. Use the triceps, take those legs alive. One breath, raise your prayer up over your head. Breath out, forward fold, drop your forearms as if they're coming to the floor, but then bring your hands down. Lengthen through the legs, turn your toes in to meet your wrists. Lift up onto the balls of the feet. Step or float your feet together. Chair pose, Tittibhasana. Breath in, rise all the way up. Lay it back if you like. Wing the arms. Breath in, high prayer. Forward fold, breath out. Lengthen, prepare. Step or float back, your vinyasa. Breathe. Nice, take your time. Lift your right leg. We'll step it right through to warrior one. Breath in as you rise. Draw the arms back. This time we'll connect in and interlace. Notice the difference. Draw the knuckles away from you. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Cuff your chest up towards the ceiling. There's your breath in. Breath out, tip it forward for devotion. Draw the knuckles up towards the ceiling and then take the arms overhead. So you have all that space in the shoulder joint. Release your hands to frame your foot. Half split, float the back heel. Turn towards your left. Prasarita with a twist. Right fingertips towards your left foot. Inhale the left arm up. On the exhale, we change sides. Breathe in, lift your right arm. We'll go one more time towards the back. Sweep your right hand towards your left foot. Spin to the outer edge of your right foot. We'll come to Vashisthasana here. Grab hold of your left shin. So you're using the strength of that left arm to help lift the hips. Lift the leg. Push out of your right arm. Now stay with me here. Step your left foot back behind you and we'll come into a rock star. Keep lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. You're solid in the right foot or in the ball of the left. Let's turn this back. Bring your left hand down to the floor. Step your left foot forward. High lunge to the back of your mat. Take your time lifting that right arm. It's just holding you up. Good. Reach back behind you, interlace the fingers. On the breath in, lift your chest. Tip it back. And then tip it forward. Take your time, warrior three. Steady on the left foot. Let's bring this to a floating tree. Grab hold of your right knee. Keep your right hip open. Float the left arm up. And lift your gaze as well. Chin lifts. Step behind that left ankle, a little curtsy, a little Shiva pose here. Draw the arms back, drop the chest. Bring your fingertips down to the mat. Step back with your right foot. Warrior two, right into peace. Connect the dots with the breath. One big breath in. Let's take this to a flying warrior, straighten the left leg, high prayer. Warrior two, back to the front of your mat. Peaceful warrior. Extended side angle. Yeah. So maybe the hands come down to the floor now. You have that room. Take your left arm back behind you. Yeah, you're already in it. Half bind, full bind. You got it. Go with it. Beautiful. So we're thinking, but we're not overthinking. And lay it back so you can straighten the left arm. And there's a little bit of room between your right thigh and your right ribs to allow yourself to twist. Now look at your right foot. Lengthen through the right leg. just a bit. So we're not locking out the right knee. You're in that bound Trikonasana. Rebend your right knee and then step your left foot forward to meet your right. You're setting up for bird of paradise. Take your time when you shift your weight onto that left foot. Once you float that right leg up, don't be in such a rush to straighten the leg. Draw the arms back. Lift the chest. Stand strong in the left leg, draw the kneecap up. And then if you're coming to the full expression of the pose, you'll straighten the right leg. If you don't have the full bind, you'll find that floating tree again. So you're here. Yeah. You can even grab the big toe and take to Tittibhasana B. Yes, nice. That's it. Keep lifting your chest, draw your shoulder blades towards each other so you're solid. We're just hang out there. Hang out there, I'm coming. Now rebend your right knee, release the bind, grab your right foot with your left hand. Come to this twisted dancer, Rajasana. Bend your left knee, take your foot into your hand and lift your right arm up. So keep lifting the chest. Wing both arms back and we'll come to a standing split. See if you can do it without bringing your hands to the mat right away. We'll get there. Stay active in the fingers. It's going to help you balance. If you want to grab your ankle, grab your ankle. If you want to bring the fingertips down to the floor. If you want to bring your hands down and hop it into a little arm balance here, into your handstand. And then whenever you're ready, vinyasa. No rush. Breathe. Lift your left leg. Step forward, warrior one. Draw the arms back, wing them back, lay it back. Devotional warrior. Connect your hands. Bring them over your head. And then drop your head. Crown of the head hovers over the floor. Your gaze is your right foot. Release your bind, frame your left foot, lift your right heel, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Shift the weight back, use the momentum. Turn towards your right, Prasarita, right arm up, left hand down. Take it to the other side. Take it towards your right foot, press down into your left hand, spin to the outer edge of your left foot, grab hold of your right shin, Vashisthasana. Lift yourself. Yeah, you have that push-pull balance. Pressing out of that left hand, lifting up with the right. Now take your time. Step your right foot back behind you. Come into your rock star. Flip it back, right hand comes down, step your right foot forward. High lunge, take your time. Connect your hands behind you in the interlace. Inhale, lean back. Warrior three. Bring us to a stand, grab hold of your left knee, floating tree, right arm lifts. Open the hip. Lift your gaze. When you're looking down towards the floor, we're bringing that energy down. So you're lifting, you're standing tall, you're lifting the chest, you can look up a little bit. Come to Shiva, step your left foot back behind your right, bring it down low. Hands come down to the floor, step your left foot back. Warrior two, right into peace, let it float. Flying warrior, straighten the legs, high prayer. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Peaceful warrior. Extended side angle. So wherever that brings you. If you came into the bind on the other side, you'll do it on this side. If you want to take half a bind, take half bind. Yeah, so don't make the pose about the bind. You want to be able to breathe in it. You want to be able to stay in that balance. Look down at your left foot. Triangle for a breath. Rebend. Hop your right foot forward to meet your left. And if you take 8 steps or you take 1, doesn't matter. When you're ready, you'll shift the weight into that right foot, start to lift your gaze already. So coming to stand is a little easier. Hold it here for a breath. Draw the arms back, keep the hip open, stand strong in the right leg. And then find the length, or you're here. Yeah. Maybe grab hold of that big toe, take your right hand on the hip. Soften your right knee, release your left foot. Grab it with your right hand. Now for Tittibhasana variation. Answer. Kicking your foot. Bend your right knee, lift your gaze. And then from here, wing the arms back and we'll come to that standing split. Take your time. Whatever you did before with your hands, if you took a little hop, maybe just play with it. Little hop. Doesn't have to be anything big. And then vinyasa when you're ready. Nice. That was good. Cool. Let's lift the heels, lower down onto the knees. Let's take it back to child's pose. And slide your hands back toward your knees. You'll be sitting up on your heels. So, show you where we're going with this. We've been playing with Tittibhasana this week, but this is a variation. It's more of a split, really. It's kind of a Tittibhasana variation. So what we'll do is come wide. You did Skandasana, and that's pretty much where we'll start from. So I'll talk you through this. I'll show you now, and then I'll bring it down for you. So you'll come into a Skandasana. You'll take, that's the other side. Your arm is coming underneath, so your shoulder, just like you would in Tittibhasana, you're getting nice and low with that right arm underneath the front leg. But this time we're going to drop the left forearm down to the floor. So it's a little bit more accessible. From here, press into your right hand, press into your left foot, and lift your right leg. So you have this little split thing going on here. Then you'll lift the chest, and you can just rest your head in your hand. And you can watch TV like this. You can hang out here, okay? We'll come to a straddle. Pick a side, we'll do both. We'll come into Skandasana. So bend one knee. Hips are wide open, right? Whatever knee is bent, you're going to take that arm back and you're going to literally put your hamstring on your tricep. The other arm comes down to the floor, you're on your forearm and you're pressing into that other foot. Press into the hand, extend the leg. And then you can bring your hand underneath your chin. Yeah, try both sides. Yeah, so you're coming down low with that forearm to counterbalance the weight of the hips, because sometimes the hips bring us down when we're trying for Tittibhasana. So this will just give you an opportunity to float it up, kind of play with that shape. And then when we come back to it, lifting both legs, it'll feel a little bit more sturdy. Cool. All right, let's bring it back to the knees. What time it is. Plenty of time. So let's press up onto the knees and get ready for a camel. Now, if your mat is on the thin side or your knees are a little sensitive, double up here. Because I'm going to give you a variation to try. So if you want to take a traditional camel, tuck the toes under. You can take your hands to the sacrum, find the length, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, drawing the elbows back, plucking your chest up until you reach back and rub the heels. If you want to take the variation, come to a figure four, bring your right ankle, your right heel in front of your left thigh. The right knee is coming down to the floor, but it's going to be on a little bit of an angle that it comes forward a bit. It's not directly parallel to the edge of the mat. And then you're here. So make sure that feels okay for your knee if you're coming into the variation. Knee is slightly forward, and we come into the same exact way. Hands to the hips, thumb support the sacrum, press down, lift the chest up. Now you're tipping the pelvis forward. Reach back for your left heel. Then you can take your right arm overhead. If you want to play with it, you add a little bit of a twist. Bring your right hand towards your left foot. And reach for the left arm. You're feeling nice and open and you want both hands to float. Take them up overhead. So make it yours. Nice. Then when you're done with that one side, extend the leg out in front of you if you had the variation and just draw the hip back. And then take it to the other side. Knee will come slightly forward so you can bring it down to the floor. Take your time. Then extend that left leg in front of you. And lower everything down to the floor. We're having a seat. Extend the legs out in front. Give the legs a little shake. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Find the length from the sits bones to the palms. One nice long line, drop your shoulders. Flex your toes. Breath in, lift. Breath out, draw the navel in and up. You're shifting the sits bones back, so it's actually moving. Shift from right to left and you draw your sits bones back. Jet the palms forward. Maybe you feel your ribs connect to your thighs. Keep extending forward without bringing tension into the shoulders. And then you're in Paschimottanasana. Once you're there, release the arms, soften it up a little bit, and then just be wherever you are. Tuck your chin to your chest and we'll roll it up. Flip the hands so the fingertips are pointing in towards your hips. Press your palms down. Purvottanasana, reverse your plank. Pull the shoulders back, chest is lifted. Heels and toes are down, arches are up. And drop your chin, bend your knees. Shift your hips forward. You're going to feel your wrists and your forearms. Tilt the pelvis. Now flip your hands, turn your fingertips to face the back edge of your mat. And start to walk your hands back a little bit. Back a little bit more. And then let them walk in towards each other until the pinkies connect. So this is huge on the shoulders. Take your time. If your shoulders are rolling forward, roll them back, puff the chest up. Maybe extend the legs out. Now press into your left hand, release your right hand, swing it across your chest and see if you can connect your fingertips to the floor. Either love it or you hate it. And then bring that right hand back to meet the left. Maybe you need to readjust. Maybe there's a little bit more space. You can walk the fingers a little farther away. Lift the chest, drop the shoulders. Press into your right hand. Swing your left arm across your chest. Reach your left hand in front of you. Reach your right hand in front of you. Sit up tall, open the arms wide. Cross the chest, right arm on top of left. Grab hold of your shoulder blades. Lift yourself up. Release the arms. Let them float down. Shoulder roll here. Take the arms wide. Breath in. Left arm on top of right. Lift the elbows. Lift yourself. Release the arms. And we'll take it all the way down. Once you're down, pull your knees into your chest. Take a rock from side to side. And bring the arms overhead in a cactus shape. Extend the legs up. Point the toes up towards the ceiling and flex the feet. Roll the ankles here. Take the legs wide. We'll come to an eagle wrap with that right leg over the left. Take your arms out to a T so you have the support of the arms. With the right leg on top, let's draw both knees over to the right side. So maybe the feet stay up. See how that feels in your back. See how it feels in the knees. This is the harder side. And then bring it back to the middle. We won't stay there. Keep your legs wrapped as they are. Now drop them down to the left side. So this one will feel a little nicer. You can bring those shins all the way down. Maybe you turn your head to the right. And bring your head back to center. Bring the legs back to the middle. Unravel the legs, wide straddle, flex the feet. Let's take it the other way. If you're not coming into eagle, you're just wrapping once. Perfectly fine. And then bring those knees over to the left side, harder side first. Press into the arms to bring those legs back to the middle. And we'll take it over to the right side. And release it there. Soften the arms. You can bring them up to that cactus shape. Come back to the middle, unravel the legs. Take your hands back behind your heads if you're laying in a hammock. Wishful thinking, right? Take the legs wide. And bring the legs together and lift the chest, support the neck, support the head with the hands. Bring the elbows towards your thighs. So the legs aren't coming back, you are lifting up. Straddle the legs, release yourself down. One more time, bring those legs together. Bring yourself up. And reach your fingertips up toward your toes. Keep reaching up towards the ceiling as you start to lower the legs. Take your time, take your time. You're projecting your toes out. And then reach the corners of the mat. Take your arms overhead, drop everything down to the floor, and then release the arms next to you. Shavasana. If you're on the playlist, actually leave it. Mouth. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth and let it go. And if you want to switch it to Shavasana, that's the last song. Called Finally in Peace. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into your body. Take your time. You want to stay in Shavasana for the next 30 minutes, 4 hours, whatever. Stay there. If you're bringing yourself up, make a little bit bigger movements till you're extending the arms over your head, extending out through the legs, as long as you can be. So you breathe in, open your mouth, lion's breath, let it go. And bring your feet to the floor and roll on to whichever side you prefer. And press your way up to sit. And bring your hands to prayer at your heart, bow your head with gratitude and honor of your practice of your efforts. And have the ability to think. And just how we do that. We think too much, we don't think enough. We think outside the box, we're thinking of others, we think of ourselves. The power in thought. Use it wisely. Let's close with one sound of Om. Breathe in. Namaste. Thank you, thank you.